Welcome to Common Man Cocktails. I'm your host, Derek Schomer. Today we're going to show you how to make the Boulevardier. This drink started more in line with like why are like bitter drinks and strong drinks so desired in the winter, and drinks like the Mai Tai and juicier drinks just not as enticing. So I kind of want to combine the two together. That led me down the path of a Boulevardier because it kind of backs up what I'm trying to say here in a certain regard. So we'll start light. Here's the recipe. It's going to be simple. A Boulevardier is historically, when you find out your sweet vermouth is sticky, the Boulevardier historically is considered a riff or a variation of a Negroni. A Negroni is equal parts of all three components: gin, Campari, sweet vermouth. This case, a Boulevardier is a little bit higher on the rye and or bourbon and or you usually don't blend them. So it's going to be 1.5 ounces of your rye or bourbon, and it's going to be 1 ounce of sweet vermouth, 1 ounce of Campari. Makes sense. And there will be some jump cuts in here because I am getting over what I guess is some sort of flu, and it sucked, but I'm on the way back. This is a stir drink. So you can use a stirring glass, a mixing glass, but if you have a shaker, a Boston shaker, something you might get at awesomedrinks.com, the bartender starter kit, for instance, you can use that. You could also get this glass at awesomedrinks.com, shop.awesomedrinks.com, if you want to mix like a pro, or at least like a home bartender. So if you don't have any of this, you can mix it in your glass. We did that last week, link up below, whatever, in the doobly-doo. I'm going to use a mixing glass this time to accent my points. Summer drinks. Summer drinks tend to be social, forward-moving. You're always thinking of something new, something crazy, creative. Look at any tiki drink. Hundreds of different things. Many different ingredients in them. Some of them have 5, 6, 8 components. Hugely complicated, but if you can get all the stuff, it becomes a very exciting time. Have some fun with friends, making some tiki drinks. In the wintertime, though, it tends to be more of a private, reflective experience, if you will, where you're just like, you're kind of cold. You need something stronger because that dryness. Your face just feels dry. Everything kind of hurts a little bit. You don't really get the same sensations. Everything's not as vibrant. It's a little dull. You wish you could get some more vitamin C from the sun or D or whatever the hell the vitamin is. And so you tend not to favor the super sweet drinks. You also don't really find that the high acidity drinks are that great. It's a little sour, a little bit more than normal. You want something a little punchy. Your senses are a little dull. You need something that really cranks in there with some bitters, like some Campari, something that brings you back to life. Also, they tend to be simple. 3 component drinks, not hard to memorize. And as part of that, there's that ritual, the mixing experience. Like, okay, I'm just going to do 1 ounce of the sweet vermouth here. Simple. But sweet vermouth by itself has that like fortified wine and that punchiness to it. It definitely brings up the ABV of a drink. Campari has some sugar in it, but you can't taste it because it's so freaking bitter. Ounce of Campari. And if you've been following me for a while, this is going to be, I think, year 18, 19. You know I'm not a big fan of Campari, although it's growing on me. But you're like, Derek, what do you mean it's growing on you? How long have you been saying that? I don't know, 18 years. No, it used to be really bad. I've definitely begun to appreciate it a little bit more, but certain drinks tend to be better than others when it comes to like that, just that bold, crazy bite that it can give you. Will. Jungle Bird, that is a more of a tiki type drink. That's definitely something that I find dilutes the bitterness of the Campari, yet it still gives it just enough to kind of like punch on through and make you go, yep, that drink's got Campari. We're going to do 1.5 ounces. I'm not going to use the other side. I'll just use this side. Boop. Ounce. There's a little line in here. And this comes with the home bartender starter kit. So if you got that, you have this little guy here. It's got your 3/4, your 1/2 ounce, your ounce, your 2 ounces, 2.5 ounces, or 1.5 ounces, which is about here on this side. So that's pretty cool. Cold weather also, it blunts the brightness of the drinks. It makes you cold. Like I've been sick for a couple weeks, and you just feel like cold all the time because like your body's just, all the heat is kind of like centered in your mass and all your extremities are just like fighting for survival on their own. Everything is just dull. So having like all that massive brightness, it's going to be probably less intense than during the summer, but intense enough to get you through to the spring. All right, let's chill this up. Ironically, we want to make it cold before we put it into this old fashioned here because you need the water. You want about a 20% dilution. So we'll stir this for a little bit. 30 seconds is usually good. But I do find like daiquiris, I could do a daiquiri, but I don't desire a daiquiri. And they tend to just taste a little bit more sour this time of year. And usually it's like one dessert daiquiri versus like repeated daiquiris. But doing just a little bit of research, I kind of found it's kind of like when you watch shows you've seen before. Like I watched a lot of Star Trek over and over again, and Stargate SG-1 and like Battlestar Galactica and things that are just familiar to me at night before I go to bed, helps my brain kind of relax. And if you spend a lot of time working, it's hard to kind of spin down and calm your brain. And so a lot of people seek familiarity in like the old shows and reruns because you don't have to think about it very hard. It's just like you kind of know the plot and there's no like guessing. Your brain can relax a little bit. It's kind of the same for drinks like this where you're like, it's real simple. I don't have to like go through my brain and figure out how to make a special syrup for some cool ass tiki drink or whatnot. Just like, I just want to make something simple. I want to stir, pour it in a glass. So it's like, the ritual is a relaxing experience, especially during the winter time. You're like, I don't want anything crazy. Just want to like keep it calm, get through these winter months and move on. So I think that the simplicity of the drinks and the basic nature of the drinks kind of pairs well with that mentality. Believe you always pour it over fresh ice. Thinking the only, I don't know. I'd rather have it over ice than just kind of straight pour it unless you chill your glass and all that stuff. I'm not going to drink it this fast. It's going to be a sipper for me. So I'd like to keep the ice to help it keep it recharged. I think that's the rule with the Boulevardier. Leave your comments below. Yell at me. Yep, that'll wake you up. Definitely will wake you up. When you're thinking dull sensations, when you're, I don't know, let's say just coming off the flu, zero appetite for the last couple of weeks. I think I dropped 3 pounds. And like I'm just starting now to want to eat again. And I think as part of that, it's one of the reasons you don't really want to eat anything is it's not really a rewarding experience because your senses are all just shot. And so maybe that's why I'm getting, in this case, post cold, a little bit more grapefruit, not as much eye twitching bitterness that I was expecting in that first sip. Dare I say, even a bit sweet from the sweet vermouth. Yeah, man, I think it's a Boulevardier mindset. 2026, first drink of the year. A little bit on this guy. The Boulevardier is around 1927. I think it was just first published by Henry McElhone or Henry McElhone. Pronunciation key, I don't know. But it was published as kind of like, this is my Negroni variation. So this is kind of fits that exact model. I think the difference for me is the Negroni I think could work as a perfectly fine winter fall drink as well as a summer drink. The gin, the floral nature of the gin I think would be lost in my appreciation right now, especially with my nose being a little stuffy, where this giving you that extra half ounce of the rye gives you that little bit more of a muskiness. If you're looking for more round, maybe a little more sweet vanilla flavor, go with like I think it's on camera here, the Elijah Craig small batch or any other bourbons. You could go Maker's Mark if you want even a little bit more sweetness to it, maybe the 46. I would go with the higher proof just to kind of cut through and get through the Campari. This is probably not a drink for those that are non-Campari fans. I'm not also a huge fan of sweet vermouth, but I did find that the Martini and Rossi is a lot easier than the Carpano Antica, which tends to be like very bold and can take over. It gives it more of that jammy, grapey flavor, which is fine. It's different. And a little brown sugar, I think sometimes. This one is a little bit easier. So let's the rye and the bourbon stand, which I think is kind of important for the Boulevardier specifically. But I also tend to like whiskey forward drinks with a higher proofage anyway. So that you could play with those things. In this case, because it's almost an equal ratio, I would go and play more with brands than ratios per se to see which brands you like the most. Of course, if that gets expensive, then maybe pass on that. I know some of the Campari Antica can be pretty expensive. You can't get a smaller bottle. Martini and Rossi is probably like $8. So there you go. Question of the day. What did you get for the holidays that you think would be interesting to write in the comments? I got a CD player for Christmas, which is ironic considering the fact that I got a CD player in the 90s. And I did not appreciate the CD players as much as I thought. And they kind of just, I don't know, they disappear. I don't know where they went. Got rid of them. They die and I didn't get a new one. CD players in my car, removed those. Now I just use Spotify and Bluetooth. And I've started to come to appreciate physical media more, especially when AWS went down and Spotify goes down. You have no more music or they take it off and you don't have access to a specific artist because they're canceled or banned. I just buy all my music. So I got all my old CDs I get to reuse. I stacked right with my record player. So now I have all my vinyl, my CDs, and all my physical media for enjoyment. And I have my Bluetooth connection if I just want to Spotify it up. But I thought it was kind of interesting that I got a CD player for Christmas and I thought they were dead. So what do you guys get? Write your comments down below. That's it. We're done. We're teaching you how to drink. Happy New Year.